As a former or retired prosecutor, I'd like to talk to you today about why you want to fight your traffic ticket. It is important to consider certain things happen when you do end up with a ticket. One of the big problems is it's a bit overwhelming. Most of us are not used to that, and that's fine, it happens. Some of it, though, is guilt, and you feel bad about this, and it's just simply a pain to look at, let alone try to deal with. You have to kind of fight through that and realize that it's usually a good idea to do something more than pay a ticket. So if you simply pay the ticket, here's what happens. Nothing's reviewed any further. So if there's a problem with the disclosure or anything is wrong with that ticket, you've avoided all of that and you're simply paying a ticket, which now shows up on your driver's abstract. And now the consequence of that can also be an increased insurance rate. Sometimes just by paying a ticket, there are things that you're not aware of. For example, if you're a G2 driver, you're only allowed a certain number of points. So if you get a ticket, you're embarrassed to tell your parents, for example. So you decide, well, I've got my own savings, I'm just going to pay it and make it go away and never speak of it again. But here's what happens on a G2 driver that pays a ticket that's 4 points. Well, they get a notice in the mail that their license has been suspended. Well, now that record looks like this. It's like you've got a speeding ticket, but there's a separate matter entirely, which is the suspension. Now you've actually got two majors on your record, and now your insurance goes through the roof. And for that individual, for example, if he's under his parents' insurance, their insurance goes up. Oftentimes in that situation, not only do the parents' insurance go up because of it, they are now forced to get insurance all on their own. So I can tell you from the perspective of being a prosecutor, these are things that we need to consider. You need to consider that. These are things that I look at on any given day, given that experience. The one example comes to mind where there was a young woman and she received a ticket. And the good news was that she did come in and she did have a conversation with me about this ticket, and she was very remorseful, inordinately so. I don't know why that is. I think it's because probably she comes from a very good family, and because a person in authority gave her a ticket, she was overwhelmed with guilt. But she did have the knowledge to do something about it and at least talk to somebody, and she did. I looked at the ticket, I listened to what she told me happened, and I knew there was a problem. There was a problem from the prosecution's perspective that in my mind, I knew they're not going to be able to prove this case. I know that from doing this for many years. Now the next step is I have to order disclosure to prove my theory. When the disclosure did come in, I was excited. It was exactly as I thought. We did go forward with that defense. She was completely exonerated. It was dismissed, and we were all very, very happy. And that young lady was super excited, as you can imagine, because that happened for her. So what I think is there are many things that, you know, this company, myself, can bring to the table in order to defend anyone on these charges. There are, by way of an example, let's say if you fight a ticket and you're on your way to court, there are things that happen from a prosecution perspective that you may not be aware of. A full docket. And you think, you know, for someone defending themselves, and they walk into that court and they see a crowd of people and they realize instantly they're going to be there for a very long time. Well, that may be true, but that is actually something that it may actually help you. Even if your case is one where you know it was you know you did it, and you're just hoping for the best, well, third thing actually is kicked in. It's a very busy day, so the prosecutor is going to be under enormous pressure. So they're going to be more agreeable to some sort of negotiation. You may find that on the most minor cases on the docket, the prosecutor simply makes the decision, well, I can't prosecute this today. It is relatively minor. I'm either going to stay that matter or I'm going to withdraw it. But the only way we know those types of things is if you do decide to fight that ticket. Thank you for taking the time today to watch our video. We are dedicated in providing you the information that you will need to make a good decision. If you are in need of a free consultation, please take the time to contact us.